In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast, me and James, we're going to share our thoughts on Tuesday night's games from Feast Week. And I have a question, a big question. Can Dylan Harper pass Cooper Flagg as the projected number one pick in the NBA draft? Stay tuned. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe, the director of scouting for NBA Big Board, and my co-host is none other than my brother, James. I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhoodgold.com. Also, I want to let you know about the new Locked On newsletter, your favorite team brought to your inbox every single day. So sign up at lockedondaily.com. It is the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage for your favorite NBA team or your favorite Locked On NBA team podcast. So check it out at lockedondaily.com. And also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop an episode. And in this first segment, we're going to talk about Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper had a fantastic performance against Notre Dame. In segment 2, we're going to cover Cooper Flagg. And then in the last segment, we'll talk about Ace Bailey. All right, let's paint this picture. Feast Week is one of my favorite weeks on the college basketball calendar, simply because you get big non-conference matchups. But shout out to Duke. Duke is a team that has played Kansas, Arizona, and Kentucky all before Thanksgiving. They're not padding their schedule with cupcakes. I mean, they mix some in there, but they have a good balance. There are some teams that coming into Feast Week, this is their first game against Power 5 competition. So shout out to Duke. I know Baylor's played a pretty tough schedule. And so that's what I love about Feast Week. I think it's the first time that you get a chance to evaluate some of these prospects against higher level competition. And I think it really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season because, let's just be honest, some of these guys are feasting against lower level schools. And I want to start off with Rutgers versus Notre Dame. Talk about Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper had 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I stayed up late to watch the game. The game didn't end till, man, I think it was past midnight. I was tired. My brother over here, we talked about podding after the game. I shoot him a text. And no, actually, I knew that he was asleep because he hadn't texted me in like a couple hours. I sent him a text like, all right, man, let's record tomorrow. I don't hear back. So I'm like, all right, man. He went to sleep.
No, I fell asleep. I didn't go to sleep. I was knocked out. I was laid out. So I was on East Coast time, man. I was out the country, dog. And yeah, man, East Coast time. I don't know how y'all do it.
Man, East Coast time is a piece of cake. Try, yeah. So anyway, so I'm up. So I decide, let me go ahead and write an article. So shameless plug here. Check the article out, NBABigBoard.com. I share my thoughts on several players that played yesterday. So I'm tired. I didn't go to bed till 4:00 in the morning. You know how like when you're watching players and they got that fake hustle, that guy that comes off the bench, he's got the fake energy. Yeah, he dives on the ground for a loose ball that was already out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's me right now. I got fake energy, man. I am tired. I was about to do this pod in some shade just because my eyes look like they're a little low. But anyway, I want to talk about Dylan Harper. Phenomenal game. 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I mentioned in the open, I want to ask you, do you think that there's a chance that he could pass Cooper Flagg as a number one pick?
Yes, I think there is a chance. Not because Cooper Flagg isn't nice. I'm still Cooper Flagg fan. I still have Cooper Flagg number one. I'm going to drop my big board at the end of this week. So December the 2nd, it will be available. I'm going to just tweet mine out. But I think there's a legit chance. Dylan Harper does so many things. And again, this isn't because Flagg didn't play well to some last night, but like we talking about 6'6", 215, depending on, what he ate the day before. I mentioned to Raf on a previous podcast, I think he's a great athlete, and he is a great athlete. Without dunking the basketball, you can be a great athlete. Body control. I mean, we saw him split that pick and roll and dunk, but even then, he has plays where he can maintain like his elevation and get through tight. Yeah, he's cold. And also on top of that, I think that with Ace Bailey back, he is learning how to balance the scoring and the playmaking. So you get 36 points and the 6 assists. Yeah, I think he can legit challenge. And, it's very early. We're talking about, last week in November. It's clearly a two-man race for who are the top two prospects in the draft. And again, we haven't seen Igor play anyone yet. Maybe, he has his opportunity. But it's clearly, to me, Cooper and Dylan Harper at the top.
Yeah, Yegor plays against Ole Miss tomorrow on Thanksgiving. But Harper, 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. We're talking about a 6'6", 215-pound combo guard for Rutgers, who entered the season as the number 3 prospect on my personal big board. And he's just been phenomenal. Like the gap between him and Ace Bailey is, I think it's wide right now. I mean, I guess you could say Harper has a 2-game start on him because Bailey missed the first couple games. But I wanted to point out like the playmaking over his last 4 games, 27 assists and just 5 turnovers. And I see the Cade comparisons.
He's more athletic than Cade, Rob.
He's more athletic than Cade. I think some comparisons are, I guess there's some size similarities. They both have the afro. Number 2, Dylan Harper is a unique athlete. And when I say he's a unique athlete, like you said, it's not all about jumping. He's not like super fast. He's not a VJ Edgecombe like super explosive athlete. But this dude has this ability to go from fast to slow, to burst, to pace. Even when it's kind of like Luka in a sense. Luka can get a rebound, right? Luka Doncic, that is. And while it's a fast break, he's not moving fast, and he somehow gets to the basket.
Yeah.
And Harper's a little bit more smoother than Luka in that sense, in my opinion. But even when he's like playing fast, it doesn't look like he's moving fast. And then the burst, like he had a move where it was like a quick burst, but then he was still under control.
Yeah.
Where he slowed down. Only thing I can think of is this. Like, I'm a car guy, right? My favorite car is a BMW 7 Series. It's bulky, it's luxurious,
that thing
but it
make
is fast.
Noise.
And it just can maneuver in and out of traffic, right? I know like Mercedes has their S-Class, and the S-Class isn't as bulky as it used to be. It's kind of sleek. While the 7 Series is still big, it's heavy, but it's fast, and you can weave in and out of traffic. If you want to go luxury mode, it can go luxury mode. If you want to go sport mode, it can go sport mode. And that's a crazy comparison, but that is the best way I can describe Dylan Harper. He can go fast. He can weave in and out of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
He can get you out the way with his strength, and he is, you can't stop him from getting to the cup. You just can't stop him.
I think athletically, physically, he's more James Harden than anybody else. Prime James Harden, where I got a big body that I can bully, and I'm still fast, and I have like amazing body control still, where you just can't stop me. Now, again, is he the shooter at Harden, or is he is the handle like Harden? You can't tell that from you can't tell right now, but I think physically and athletically, he's more prime Harden than anyone else. But yeah, he is cold. Like, even there was a play in the second half where he had a Euro step, where he was just gliding around and then hit him with the soft euro. But in the comparison of like VJ Edgecombe athleticism versus his, I would much rather have Dylan Harper athleticism than VJ Edgecombe, because that's just explosion straight up and down. Like when you can just be fast, slow, elevate, body control, I'd rather have that.
Harper's got breaks, he's got poise, he's got patience, and even like I said, when he's playing fast, it doesn't look fast, but his ability to go from slow to fast, stop, start, split pick and rolls. And then I like the Harden comparison in a sense, because Harden doesn't get credit for being an athlete, but he can come down a lane and dunk on you. So not the question is, do you think Dylan Harper could pass Cooper Flagg? And you said yes. So I agree. I think there's a chance. However, I do think that the buzz for Flagg is so high that an owner may be like, you know what, Cooper Flagg is going to sell more tickets immediately. All right, up next, we're going to talk about Cooper Flagg, the projected number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. Had an interesting outing against Kansas. James and I are going to share our thoughts on Flagg's performance. All right, let's talk about Robinhood Gold. And with Robinhood Gold, you do not need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and the perks that are usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth, but for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhoodgold.com. Terms apply. For specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, second segment. Let's talk about Cooper Flagg, the projected number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, freshman out of Duke. I don't know what position he plays. I just think that he is a weapon, but I think he's like a 3-4. Flagg had an interesting game, finished with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. This was his toughest matchup. I thought Kansas did a very good job of limiting him. He only had 9 shots. And I thought Kansas did a really good job. I feel like Kansas kind of exposed his ball handling. I think that the scouting report is out on Flagg. When he puts the ball on the ground, he's going to spin. And they were sitting on his spin move. So I went back and watched every one of Cooper Flagg's 19 turnovers this season. 5 of his turnovers come from the same thing. Driving, they beat him to the spot, he spins, and the defender's sitting right there. And a lot of his turnovers have come from ball handling, loose handle. It's not really getting talked about a lot. I mean, like Ace Bailey gets heavily criticized for his handle. And I get it. Ace Bailey's handle is only going east and west or stationary. Cooper is trying to go north and south, but he is picking up quite a few turnovers due to lack of ball handling or poor decision-making. Over his last 2 games, he has 8 turnovers. But what are your thoughts on Flagg's performance and his handle? And one more thing. Do you still think he's a 3? Because to me, he's a 4.
All right, let me address that. I still think he is a 3. Partially because of there are signs. He's 17 years old, and I think the handle there is room for growth with the handle.
Yep.
So let me start with and let me tell you why I still think he's a 3. Came down to the clutch. He had KJ guarding him, KJ Adams. He went left, shot a left-hand layup, straight line drive. That's a small forward, to me, play, right? Next play, now drives left, he spins, he draws a foul. In the clutch, he made wing-type plays there. I do think now, and then the turnover at the end of the game where he called Zeke Mayo at the free throw line on the switch, he didn't read the defense correctly. He had Kneppel still cutting. He had Malawach and a dunker. He went too early. You got to let Khan get to the 3-point line because that defender is absolutely going to have to follow Khan to the 3-point line. So he went too early. I'm still buying him long term as a 3. My biggest issue with him was that, and it's reminding me of the McDonald's game where it looked like he was, and it's a McDonald's game, that's an exhibition, I get it, where you could be like, man, he didn't have a good game, but you look at the box score, you're like, maybe he did have an okay game. If you didn't watch the game, and I told you he had 13 and 8 and 4, like you'd be like, okay, that was fine. He, to me, looked at KJ Adams, he saw his short arms, he saw his muscle, and was like, I can't bully him. And he didn't try. I don't think that it's acceptable for I don't know if people, well, a lot of people think he's generational, but
no,
you got to be more.
He's not generational.
I'm
we're
not
throwing that around too loosely, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call. I'm a big Cooper Flagg fan, but I'm not calling him generational. And if I did in the past, I didn't mean it. I corrected myself, and that's not based off of this game. But I say that to say this: he can't take 9 shots in the game. Well, not if I'm the projected number 1 pick.
He couldn't get clean looks.
But he, to me, didn't force the issue enough.
Well, I thought that's why I have concerns about the handle. He couldn't generate looks. His points came from when, outside of the left-hand layup, which was a good move, his points came when they had to put him as the roll man. And I've said all along, and I had people tell me I was crazy, I think on the college level, you can get away with playing Cooper Flagg at the 5. You can play him at the 5, use him as the roll man, and you surround him with shooters. Who is going to stop that?
Right, because you saw him bang on homeboy.
If he gets anywhere near his launching pad, it's a dunk. And then he's a good enough passer where you can play him in the short roll. I would honestly try a lineup of, I put Isaiah Evans out there. I would go
He should have played last night.
He should have played. I would go at Isaiah Evans, Knipple, Proctor, and either Gillis or Caleb Foster play Flagg some minutes at the 5 because I felt like he got loose as the roll man. I know he had 2 dunks. One, the takeoff when he got to his launching pad with one. He had one on the side pick and roll. And then another play, he drew a foul. So I think they need to unlock him at the 5. Some, not the whole game. He's a good enough rim protector. He's physical, at least strong enough to play the 5. But that's why I don't think he's a 3, because when I look at a 3, either you are a 3 and D that can't dribble at all and you shoot threes, or you got to be able to create space at will. And I just think he's too predictable with his ball handling. What he's doing.
I just think that I don't think that the matchup he had an answer for the matchup. That was the first person that could match him physically and athletically. And I think he didn't rise to the occasion. That's what I'm going to hold that against him, because he to me lacked assertiveness. And it wasn't just on because KJ Adams was guarding him. He had opportunities on switches where Rylan Griffin, and then Zeke Mayo was guarding him, and he didn't call for the ball. Like, that is my issue with him last night. Duke
doesn't have a point guard. They don't have anybody that can get him the ball.
Man, listen, okay, we know Cooper. I'm not cutting anybody any slack for that, man. I've seen you cuss out people. I see you yell. I see you flex. I've seen all the videos on Baller's Life. Like, you were an active dude. Like, yell at somebody. Cuss, like, show me some fire. I didn't see fire from Flagg last night until he banged on homeboy. That was my issue.
I disagree. I felt like he was playing hard.
I'm not saying he wasn't playing hard. I'm just saying, like, okay, you're 6'9" and you have a mismatch, and there were opportunities in him. Like, he was just swinging the ball. He just played, okay, for the lack of a better term, he played the right way in the first half for too long. And by that time, it's like, nah, man, you got a mismatch. Go be a bully.
I think they shut his water off, because there were times where he would post up and then he would spin and there was somebody there. There's one particular play where he drove, and I wish I could have screenshot it. They had like 5 defenders all within reach of him in the paint. He missed Knipple in the corner. Another play on the left block, he went to post up, spun right into Hunter Dickinson.
It was a hard double. I mean, yeah, but real quick, Ralph. And this is why I'm also buying him as a 3. He did make 2 high-level wing passes in the first half. He threw the no look to Malawich. That was a great play. And he did hit Kneppel in the corner, left corner for a skip. They chased Kneppel, chased him off the line, and he got a floater. I'm still buying him as a 3. I just wasn't impressed with the legendary motor that has made Cooper Flagg the internet sensation, basketball sensation that he is, because I feel like he didn't have it in the first half. And that is concerning to me, because I just feel like, this is a big game. We've seen him rise to the occasion in other big games, and he was just kind of like, I'm cool running offense. Nah, man, I got a 6'3" guard on me. Go.
The help was there. I just think that he didn't have the creativity and the handle to consistently get to his.
But even without the handle, and maybe this is a knock on him because he's in between positions or whatever, but even without the handle, you can still catch the ball and face up. That has nothing to do with handle. That to me is just not recognizing the situation. But I want to see going forward in the future, if teams are going to switch that, even if it's just for 2 plays, like, yo, put your hand up. The double is coming. You're number 1 on the scouting report at 17. Put your hand up, face up. Because, again, if he faces up, he can get to his 2-dribble pull-up. We've seen him shoot
even then, though, I wouldn't say like the 2-dribble pull-up is efficient enough to where it's a serious weapon.
I think it.
And I just think like the handle has been shaky. Again, if you go back and watch all 19 of his turnovers, most of them have to do with lack of ball handling and being predictable. And I think the scouting report is out. Hard drive, straight line drive. You don't want him to do that. But if you beat him to the spot, he is spinning, and it is right into the defense. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about Ace Bailey, who was the number 2 prospect on my big board. And yeah, Ace Bailey is struggling. And I have a player, it's like a half player comparison that I think he's modeled his game after, and I just don't think it is a good idea. So stay tuned to hear my thoughts about Ace Bailey. All right, let's talk about FanDuel. FanDuel, which is America's number 1 sports book. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and it is all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. And it is on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. All right, let's talk about Built. If you are a renter and you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use towards flights, fitness classes. You can even use the points for your next rent payment. And there's no cost to join Built. And as a member, you will earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world that you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemable towards future rent and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So start earning points on rent that you are already paying. Join Built.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use our URL so they know that we sent you. Join Built.com/LockedOnNBA to start earning points on your rent payments today. All right, last segment. Let's talk about Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey was the number 2 prospect on my big board coming into the season. I thought he had a puncher's chance. Actually, I'll be honest. I thought he had a legitimate chance to pass Cooper Flagg as the number 1 pick. It is still early, but as of today, the day before Thanksgiving, Ace Bailey is lucky that it is a long season if he wants to surpass Cooper Flagg. But the appeal for Bailey is he is a 6'10 shooter, and he's a good athlete, and he kind of fits the archetype or mold of the modern NBA wing that can play 2, 3, 4 knockdown shots and create his own shot. Well, I put it like this. He can create his own shot because he has the ability to rise over the top of guys. So anyway, I was watching film. I saw the struggles yesterday. 10 points, 4 of 12 from the floor. He was 1 of 1 from 3, so that makes him 3 of 11 inside the arc. I'm still intrigued by the talent, but here's where I think Ace Bailey has an issue. And let me know your thoughts on this.
I'm gonna let you know.
I feel like he's trying to play like Carmelo Anthony.
I told you he tried to play like Carmelo Anthony.
I saw it the first game. I think the first game I saw a couple plays, the mid post. But now watching this game against Notre Dame, I'm like, he's trying to play like Melo. And it's not a knock on Melo. But here's the thing. You can't play like Melo without the strength, the physicality.
No caboose.
Or the first step, or as James says, no caboose. You got to have that. You got to be wide and all outside to play like Melo. Melo was a matchup problem because he was stronger than you. He had a good first step. He was physical. I actually went back and watched some Melo freshman year highlights when he led Syracuse, and he played the same way he played throughout his NBA career, but he was physical. There was a level of hunger, and I'm going to punish you if you are too small, and if you are big, I'm going to get by you. And then if Melo missed a shot, his second jump was quick. Bailey is trying to play like Melo without the strength, without the threat of a first step. And when I said Cooper Flagg was predictable, well, it's either straight line drive or spin. Ace Bailey is even more predictable. It's jab step, face up, look you in your eye. I'm going to try to dribble, but it's stationary, like the stationary warm-up drills you do when you first get on the court. And then it's rise up over the top. And I think that I say this. I think his flaws are being magnified. And even as like a big Bailey advocate, we all knew this was his game coming into the season.
Raf, I told you. I read the playbook in front of you. The film was there. The high school tape was there. Tough shots. All his drives are to a spot on the floor, not to the basket. They're not counters. They are face up, 2 dribbles. I'm trying to think of the angle. You know how the trapezoid lane it used to be in FIBA? He takes that angle to the basket to pull up. It's hard to make a living taking those kind of shots. And the only time he gets into the paint is on the offensive rebound. And even the Melo comparison, like freshman Melo shot 7 free throws a game. Ace gets there 4 times a game. And, he'll absolutely take 4, but he doesn't get layups. You know what I'm saying?
And I will say his 4 free throw attempts aren't the I'm driving to the rim. You had to foul me to stop me. Foul attempts.
Yeah, those 4 attempts aren't. You might need to put an asterisk about them. I wasn't high on him. I told you going into the season, like that's Michael Porter Jr. to me. I'm buying him on the catch. I'm buying the athleticism off the ball. 1,000% he's a play finisher. Evidenced by the 2 assists in how many games? 4. 2 assists in 4 games.
Turnovers, I think 7 turnovers.
Yeah, and this isn't just like a knock. It's just I came into the season with different expectations of Ace, and that's 2 rough games for him. He did make some plays down the stretch. Give him credit for that, but yeah, man, I wasn't really buying him as a threat to Flagg, and he might not be a top 5 pick. He might be 5th. But
who's going to pass him up though? You can say Yegor. Okay,
I would take Yegor over him.
He hasn't played anybody.
He hasn't played anybody, and that's true. But at the same time, you could almost say like, who Rutgers hasn't played. Notre Dame is a Power 5 Power 6, whatever power team, but they just lost to Kennesaw State. Like, this isn't we talked about Flagg struggling. Flagg just like they run the gauntlet, right? And he finally had an average game against a big time team. Like, this is Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's best player wasn't even out there last night. So
I don't know that one dude was man,
the Princeton transfer.
The Princeton transfer was cooking.
Yeah, but I mean, I just have different expectations for Ace. Do I think he'll finish the season about where he is now, 17 points, 5 rebounds? Sure. I just think he's going to be a play finisher, spot up guy. I don't foresee a handle ever becoming available for him. But again, if he's able to knock down shots, be an action shooter, learn to be a better cutter, he'll have success. I just wasn't buying him as a threat to be the number 1 pick in the draft. But you say real quick, who could be a threat to knock him out of the top 5 or push him to 5? We said Yegor. I mean, Malawal's tape is so like, it's just like this big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe somebody bites on what he does. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect him to be productive statistically. I thought he would be drafted high, just pure flash. Maybe Trey Johnson. But here's some interesting stats about Bailey real fast. Take a guess what his shooting percentage is at the rim this year.
He's got what? 2 dunks, so that's going to boost him. I don't know. 60%?
He is 100% at the rim. He is 6
for 4?
He's 6 for 6 at the rim. 6 for 6 at the rim. Small sample size.
Right.
He has 4 dunks.
Time out. 6. See, that's my problem. How do you have 6 attempts at the rim in 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying, like, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for him. I do think there is a path to where he can get back to where I projected. 1 is get to the rim. 2, I think he needs to take more catch and shoot jumpers. Now, he's only shooting 35% on catch and shoot jumpers.
You'll take that though.
Yeah, we'll take that. 35 or 38% on jump shots overall. He's shooting 44% on pull-up jumpers. Now, those numbers are padded by the first game, but I still think there is somewhat of a path for him, especially if he can get more catch and shoot jumpers. And yesterday he was reluctant to take them. He wanted to get to his spots. Ball. He was holding the ball. I mean, there was one play where it was almost like he just stared the man down and caught his own place. But the path I think for him would be shoot catch and shoot jumpers. I think he can make them. And then even if he doesn't want to get all the way to the rim, if he attacks a closeout with a 1 dribble pull up.
But he doesn't initiate contact when they chase him off the line.
Yeah,
they chase him off the line and they run him off the line. He takes a poor angle to like the 15-foot mark in the short corner. And I'm like, you're not even creating space. Like, those shots they chase you off the line. You got to think, and again, I know he's not the same caliber player, but you got to think if it's not wide open, it's Devin Booker. Like, you know how Devin Booker, as soon as he gets by you, he's making contact and then he creates space. Ace gets by you and he goes immediately to like a target on the floor. And I'm like, you're going to shoot a contested shot. I don't care if he's 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". Like, those are tough shots.
Yeah, I think he needs to play exactly like Brandon Miller played at Alabama. Brandon Miller shot a lot of threes, even though he didn't really shoot them in the corner, but he shot threes. There was the big knock that he didn't get to the rim. He was a terrible finisher, didn't have the handle to create. He showed more than what Bailey has shown, but then you can also say that Brandon Miller was a 20-year-old freshman?
That's true.
And Ace is 18, one of the younger guys. So I think Ace is going to be fine. I just think that this class has been really hyped, and some guys, and it's not just him. There's a few prospects in this class, whether it's Nolan Traore, whether it's VJ Edgecombe, whether it's Khan Knippel, that are being projected as lottery picks that probably will end up being lottery picks, but they still have major, major holes or flaws in their game. But Harper has been, to me, the best at combining the ability to get to the rim. He looks the most natural at putting the ball in the cup. He's the guy that I'm like, all right, I feel like you're going to get a good shot every time he has the ball. And when I say a good shot, and I like Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson is going to get you a good shot, but a good shot for him may look like a tough shot for others. Dylan Harper, to me, has been the best so far at, you feel like, all right, if he has the ball, a good possession is going to happen, especially the last few games where he's not turning the ball over. So I've been really impressed with Dylan Harper, and I think there's a chance that he could pass Cooper Flagg as the number 1 pick. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Once again, thank you for making this your first listen of the day. Please check out the Locked On newsletter. Your favorite Locked On NBA podcast has a newsletter that will be delivered right to your inbox every day. Check it out at lockedondaily.com. Stay with us as we continue to share our thoughts on some of the top performances and prospects at Feast Week. Once again, it's Rafael and James, and we are out of here.